Australia is the country of kangaroos, snakes, koalas, spiders, sharks, but also the country known as one big desert. The country with big cities like Perth, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, Adelaide, and Gold Coast. The country that's known for its interesting accent of the English language, for the few people, and most of all for their beautiful biodiversity and nature. But there's always something we forget: the state and island of Tasmania. Why is this? And why are they never spoken of while it's an incredible, remarkable, and beautiful state? First, let me explain some basics before we're telling you the secrets and beauty of this underrated state and why people often seem to forget this state. Tasmania is an Australian island state. It's located 240 kilometers south of the Australian mainland, separated by the Bass Strait, with the archipelago possessing the country's southernmost point. The state has an underrated size which is comparable to some relatively big countries. With 90,758 square kilometers, they're comparable to countries like Serbia, Jordan, Portugal, and Hungary. The state is the least populated of Australia, with only 523,000 to 570,000 residents living here. Compare that to smaller countries like the Netherlands, which is almost home to 18 million people at only 44,000 square kilometers. This is 32 to 33 times more, while it's 2 times smaller than Tasmania. Tasmania is still densely forested, with the Southwest National Park and the neighboring areas holding some of the last temperate rainforest in the southern hemisphere. Forests cover for 50% of the territory, and 53% of these forests are protected in reserves. In my opinion, Tasmania can be considered the heart of nature, the central of Earth's origin, and an example of how it was supposed to be. Tasmania also has the cleanest land air in the world. Tasmania is one of, if not the most biodiversity territories in the world. They have mountainous areas and hills. They have forests, incredible and beautiful rivers, vast plains, agricultural fields, and coastlines like nowhere else. Tasmania has a large number of rivers due to its harsh landscape. Several of Tasmania's major rivers have been dammed at some point in order to generate hydroelectricity. Many rivers flow from the central Highlands to the ocean. Tasmania's largest population centers are mostly clustered around estuaries such as rivers. Major rivers of the state include the South Esk River, Derwent, Arthur, Gordon, Huon, Mersey, Franklin, North Esk, and the Pieman River. The most famous and most visited waterfall in Tasmania is Russell Falls in Mount Field due to its proximity to Hobart, and stepped falls at a total height of 58 meters. Tasmania also has a large number of beaches, the longest of which is Ocean Beach on the west coast at about 40 kilometers. The Interim Biogeographic Regionalisation of Australia, IBRA, divides Tasmania into 9 bioregions: Ben Lomond, Furneaux, King Island, Central Highlands, Northern Midlands, Northern Slopes, Southern Ranges, Southeast, and West. So let's go through these regions real quick. Now, the first region is Ben Lomond, and Ben Lomond is the exact opposite of the stereotyped Australia. Remember, Australia is one giant desert? Well, look at this. Have you ever thought about the option to practice winter sport in Australia? No, me neither. But like I said before, Tasmania really has it all. Ben Lomond is a mountain in Tasmania, Australia, located in the northeast. The mountain is made up of a central massif with a large plateau above 1,200 meters and higher outlier summits extending from it. The plateau's highest point, at 1,572 meters, is the unassuming Legs Tor on the plateau's northern edge. The southern extremity of the plateau is dominated by 1,527-meter-high Stacks Bluff, which lowers to a cliff line 600 meters above the surrounding slopes. The plateau is surrounded by the notable outlier peaks of Ragged Jack, 1,369 meters, Mensa Moor, 1,358 meters, and Tower Hill, 1,122 meters. Ben Lomond is east of Launceston in the Ben Lomond National Park. Ben Lomond is a year-round favorite of tourists and hikers due to its proximity to Launceston and the presence of a ski town on the plateau. It is located in the Northern Midlands local government area of Tasmania's central region. The location is approximately 64 kilometers east of Longford, which is a small town of nearly 4,000 residents. Tasmania is home to 2 major islands. Both lay in the north of the state. So going more to the northeast, we find the Furneaux groups, consisting of approximately 100 islands, with the biggest one being this island, called Flinders Island. The other ones are Cape Barren Island and Clark Island. The Furneaux group is a group of approximately 100 islands located at the eastern end of Bass Strait, between Victoria and Tasmania. With 2,010 square kilometers, they're home to 795 people. Flinders Island is the main island, and it is truly stunning. With beauty of nature, they are one remarkable place for travelers. Flinders Island boasts a rugged and varied coastline with numerous bays, inlets, and rocky headlands. The coastline is known for its scenic beauty and is a popular destination for beachcombing, fishing, and boating. Trousers Point Beach in particular is renowned for its pristine white sand. The island's interior is characterized by low hills and a few small mountains. The highest peak on Flinders Island is Mount Strzelecki, which reaches an elevation of approximately 756 meters, 2,480 feet. This mountain offers hiking opportunities and panoramic views of the island. Flinders Island features several small lakes and wetlands, including Logan Lagoon and Mamana Lagoon. These areas are important for bird watching and provide habitat for various bird species. The island is covered in a mix of vegetation types, including dry eucalypt forests, coastal heathlands, and grasslands. The diverse flora supports a variety of wildlife, including wallabies, wombats, and various bird species. The other one of these two major islands is King Island. The Australian state of Tasmania owns King Island, which is located in the Bass Strait. It is the largest of the 4 islands that make up the New Year group and the second largest island in Bass Strait after Flinders Island. The island's population was 1,585 at the time of the 2016 census. King Island has great plains, cliffs, forests, an incredible coast, bay and boulevards, and lighthouses to help boats on the water. The island is renowned for its diverse and picturesque coastline. It has long, sandy beaches, rocky shores, and rugged cliffs. Some of the notable beaches include Porky Beach, Martha Lavinia Beach, and Sea Elephant Beach. The island's coast is ideal for beachcombing, surfing, and fishing. King Island is home to several historic lighthouses, including the Cape Wickham Lighthouse, which is the tallest lighthouse in the southern hemisphere. These lighthouses are not only important for navigation, but also popular attractions for visitors. Going back to the vast territory of Tasmania, we encounter mountains, lakes, and nature you've probably never seen before. Like, literally stunning. Honestly, I don't even know how to describe this piece of haven. This territory is often called the Lake Country of Tasmania. They earned this status due to their large and amazing lakes. Some examples are Lake St. Clair with forests, hills, and wildlife around it, just like Lake King William, Yingina Great Lake, Arthur's Lake, Lake Sorrel, and Lake Crescent. Just next to Lake St. Clair, there's Mount Olympus, which is a hiking haven, but it can also get very snowy on the mountain. Now, I've never been here, but I could imagine that walking here feels like there's no pain and hate in the world. It just makes you forget everything. There are even more mountains in the Central Highlands, that being Cradle Mountain, Mount Osa, and the Cathedral Mountain. In this area, there are multiple forests and national parks like Mole Creek Karts National Park, Cradle Mountain, Lake St. Clair National Park, Walls of Jerusalem National Park, and Franklin Gordon Wild Rivers National Park. Now, here are 10 seconds to summarize the beauty of Central Highlands. Moving on to the Northern Midlands, this is the more neutral part of Tasmania and also has the area where farmlands, animals, dairy, and vast green plains are found. This territory is good for agricultural activities, but is still a bit hilly like the rest of Tasmania. One of the more defining features of the Northern Midlands is its fertile agricultural land. The region is known for its productive farms and pastures, making it a significant contributor to Tasmania's agricultural industry. Crops such as wheat, barley, oats, and various vegetables are grown in the area. The region is also known for its livestock farming, particularly sheep and cattle. The Northern Midlands is crisscrossed by several rivers and waterways. The South Esk River and Meander River are 2 major rivers in the region. The region is home to several historic towns and settlements, including Longford, Evandale, and Perth. The town Perth, not the city. From the Northern Midlands to the Northern Slopes, with snowy mountains and the possibility to hike into pure nature. Okay, so now that we've had the northern and center regions of the state, we can move on to the more southern regions like the Southern Ranges. The Southern Ranges are characterized by several major mountain ranges, including Southwest Wilderness. This rugged and largely inaccessible wilderness area contains some of Tasmania's highest peaks, including Mount Osa, which is the tallest mountain in Tasmania. The terrain is marked by steep slopes, steep gorges, and dense rainforests. Western Arthur Range. Located within the Southwest Wilderness, the Western Arthur Range is renowned for its dramatic and jagged peaks, including Mounts Hesperus and Sirius. It offers challenging hiking and wilderness experiences. Franklin Gordon Wild Rivers National Park. This park includes parts of the southern ranges and is known for its wild river systems, deep gorges, and impressive cliffs. The Franklin River is one of the iconic waterways in this park. While primarily in the Central Highlands, this park's northern boundaries extend into the southern ranges. Cradle Mountain, one of Tasmania's most famous peaks, is located here. The southern ranges include alpine plateaus and highlands with extensive glacial lakes and tarns. Lake Petter and Lake Gordon are examples of large man-made lakes in the region, created by damming the rivers for hydroelectric power generation. Much of the southern ranges are covered in temperate rainforests, particularly in the Southwest Wilderness. This pristine wilderness area is part of the Tasmanian Wilderness World Heritage Site, known for its unique flora and fauna. The diverse landscapes of the southern ranges support a wide range of plant and animal species. This includes unique Tasmanian wildlife such as the Tasmanian devil, wallabies, and various bird species. The ancient Gondwanan rainforests here contribute to the region's ecological significance. The southern ranges are a popular destination for outdoor enthusiasts and adventure seekers. Hiking, camping, bushwalking, and mountaineering are common activities in this region. The Overland Track, which passes through the Cradle Mountain Lake St. Clair National Park, is one of Tasmania's most famous hiking trails. One of the last two regions in the south are the Huon Valley, which is the name of the country. The Huon is both a major agricultural area, particularly famous for growing apples. 83% of Tasmanian apples originate in the valley, but also producing cherries, berries, and stone fruit. Just like the rest of Tasmania, you can find incredible and stunning mountains here, just like the forests and an extensive coastline. The South Cape Bay is something you can't miss when going to Tasmania. Just like the coastline of the West, which is the last region we'll be discussing, the west coast of Tasmania is mainly isolated, rough country, associated with wilderness, mining, and tourism. This coast was a place in history for European settlers. The west coast is home to hills and mountains such as Mount Owen. Mount Owen also carries a unique waterfall with it, called the Horsetail Falls. These were all the regions, but we still got a few things left. First of all, the capital city, Hobart. Hobart is the capital and most populated city of Tasmania, Australia's island state. It's the southernmost and least populated Australian state capital, home to nearly half of all Tasmanians. Hobart is located on the estuary of the River Derwent in the state's southeast. Hobart is noted for its well-preserved Georgian and Victorian architecture, which gives the city an old-world air. For locals, the city's convict past was a cause of discomfort, but it's also an attraction for tourists. Many of the city's heritage-listed buildings can be found in areas within the city center, such as Salamanca Place and Battery Point. Historic residences and mansions can also be found in the suburbs, while weatherboard cottages and two-story Victorian houses can be seen around the city. Moving a bit more to the southeast, we find a town called Port Arthur. Port Arthur is a historic town in Tasmania, Australia, located on the Tasman Peninsula. It's around 97 kilometers, 60 miles southeast of Hobart, the state capital. This site is part of the Australian Convict Colonies World Heritage Site, which consists of 11 remaining penitentiary colonies erected by the British Empire on lush Australian coastal strips in the 18th and 19th centuries. From 1833 to 1877, Port Arthur was the destination for the most hardened of convicted British criminals, those who were secondary offenders after re-offending in Australia. Rebellious inmates from other prisons were also transferred there, as well as convicted boys, including some of only 9 years. Port Arthur is now one of Australia's most visited historical sites, with over 250,000 people every year, and it's a true piece of history. Now, Tasmania has much more to offer, but this was just an overview of their incredible and underrated state. So what do you guys think? Is Tasmania enough discussed, and do you think it's possibly the most beautiful natural territory in the world? In my opinion, they are truly what the world is supposed to look like. Forests, mountains, hills, plains, coasts, and snow. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about it. And while you're on your way there, please do consider subscribing. Anyway, thank you for watching.